Okay, welcome to PSCI 3280 Judicial Process. My name is Troy Hendricks, and I will be your professor, lecturer, teacher, instructor, whatever my title is this semester. This is a judicial process. So if you see me looking off to the left a little bit, that's where the syllabus is. We're going to talk about the syllabus first. And then Thursday, we'll get into more formal lecture discussion. And so this recording, I'm going to go over class basics and classroom basics, and then also the syllabus, as you can see here on the shared screen. And I'm going to try to post these on YouTube and then link YouTube to Canvas. Anyway, so that part is, they will be on Canvas regardless, somehow. Everything will be on Canvas: grades, assignments, some readings, those kinds of things, grade book, and all of that. So as it says there, I don't know how many of you have taken these courses, but this is called an asynchronous/hybrid, which is fancy educator talk for asynchronous. Means like this video, you can literally watch it whenever you want. Some of you may never even end up watching this. Am I really even talking to you if you're not watching this video? Can't make you watch it. I will know if you've accessed it or not, but can't make you watch these videos. But async means you can watch it on Monday night, Sunday morning, Tuesday night, etc. And then hybrid part means we're going to meet face-to-face on Thursdays, every Thursday from 4:00 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. in Social Behavioral Science building room 210. That's the building so far as I know. I'm still apprised that that is in fact the classroom. We'll go through the calendar here for that. My general, so you can see the note there at the top. This is an asynchronous hybrid class. You will be required to attend Thursday sessions. Again, I can't make you do the async part, but I can and will take roll on Thursdays, and our exams, as we'll talk about in a little bit, will all be in class face-to-face. I'm not on campus any day of the week other than Thursday for maybe an hour and a half. So when the exams will be. Do not miss the exams, right? If you are sick, I need a doctor's note. If you have COVID, I need a formal thing for that. If you need any sort of student services or disability services accommodation, I got to have the proper form for that. But I'm not very flexible. It's 45 minutes away. So I need you to be here if at all humanly possible. So this I just forgot or whatever, not going to fly when it comes to exams. So the async part will be a mixture of written assignments and video lectures. I may post some documentaries or videos where you watch the video and answer some questions related to that. I don't believe in busy work, so when I choose those kinds of things, I will, as much as humanly possible, make them what I call redemptive, meaning it's not a time waster. Now, whether or not you feel it waste your time, that's a whole other question. But in my mind, I'm thinking this is something you need to know, something you need to watch, or it can explain it better than I can. Or I might just post a video of me lecturing to sort of fill in some of the gaps, etc. So that's the async part. I will try to, my goal is, again, absent some sort of tragedy or illness or whatever, run this class like a Tuesday, Thursday class. And by that, I mean, I hope and will strive to have the async part up before Monday or by Monday, depending on my schedule, but maybe by Monday. And then you've got 2 or 3 days to do that, and then Thursday will follow that. So for example, if I lecture on the video, then I will pick up on Thursday where I left off on the video. So you may show up on Thursday, and if you haven't seen the video yet, you might be a little out of sync. never fear, just go back and watch the video and you can, get it back on schedule, because your schedule, is going to be flexible as well. I get that. So, so like I said, I'll have it try there as much as I can to have it at the beginning of the week by Sunday night or Monday night, depending on my schedule. So in terms of, online and Thursday, 4 to 5:15. Office hours, I can pretty much be flexible via Zoom, depending on my schedule here. So those of you who haven't had me before, I teach full-time at Cal Baptist University down in Riverside, which is, I'm here now in my office. And so I have my office hours here. Students don't always drop by, so I can be flexible for Zoom meetings. And then, of course, on Thursdays, I'll physically be on campus. I'm going to try to get there around 3:30 or so, again, depending on traffic. And sometimes I have meetings that run late here. And then I can hang around a little bit after class as well. And so we can talk then about something. If you want to sort of private sit down, then Zoom will be the better option. But I, of course, will be on campus on Thursdays. My email, so ththenricks@csusb.edu. And then my phone is my Cal Baptist phone number. So you can leave a voicemail, though email is better to get a hold of me. But you can leave a voicemail if you need to, or call me there. I'm usually on campus here in Riverside some part of all 5 days of the week, since this is my full-time gig. The course description, we're going to look at a variety of things, but as the class name entails, judicial process is going to run the gamut from basically sort of overview of the law, judicial decisions, process roles. That course description, I didn't write it. It's delightfully broad, so I can basically pour whatever it is into the class. As you can tell from the titles of the chapters, we're going to cover a little bit of history of law, formation of law, of what is law. We'll cover a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of religion, a little bit of science, a little bit of politics, obviously. We'll talk about the nature and structure of courts, both federal courts and state courts. We'll talk about the nature and role of the people who participate in the judicial process, everything, a little bit, not so much policing, that's more of a criminal justice thing. But we'll talk a little bit about what paralegals do and all of that. Obviously, lawyers, judges, court reporters, bailiffs, jurors, defense attorneys, prosecuting attorneys, plaintiffs' attorneys, civil court, criminal court and trial of each. We'll talk about the presentation of evidence and the rules of evidence. We'll talk about sentencing. We'll talk about appellate courts and what appellate courts do. And then the last part, we'll talk specifically about the U.S. Supreme Court and what they do and all those kinds of things in between. We'll talk a little bit, obviously, I like to say this class is fairly general. We'll obviously use California courts as a model for state courts, but this class, I should say, is not a state and local government class or a California politics class per se. It is the whole judicial process. So there are, and we'll cover this a lot more. There are some things in common, so if you watched the Johnny Depp Amber Heard civil case for defamation last spring, or was that summer? Maybe it was earlier this summer. That took place, I believe, in Virginia. And what you watch there, if you watched any of that, would be similar to what you would see in a California civil court. Not exactly the same, but very similar. And if you watched any of the criminal trials the last couple of years, the Rittenhouse trial for self-defense and any of those other trials that escape me now that I need them, again, you'll see there's some generalities in there. So I kind of like to, I use the example of like baseball and softball. The two sports are very similar. You may have a preference, but be that as it may, you got 4 bases, you got a ball, you got a bat, you got gloves, you've got fielders, you've got positions, you've got home runs, singles, doubles, etc. But there, of course, are some not unimportant differences between the two sports. So the same with courts. You got 50 different state court systems and a federal court system. you go into any one of those and you'll recognize the game for what it is, but there are some not unimportant differences between the various and sundry states. But we're going to focus mostly on what they have in common, which is a lot. 90, well over 90% or 95%, maybe even 98 or 99%, but you can't probably scientifically quantify these things, are like what they do in any other state. Nevertheless, there are some differences and some disconnects. The reading or the textbook, and of course I ran off and left my textbook, is the Neubauer, the 7th edition. Now, is it 7th? Let me make sure. Yeah, 7th edition. Now, I don't know. 6th edition's probably too old. I'm not going to harmonize any older edition versus new editions. 2017, there should be plenty of used. I would rent them, quite frankly. This isn't a book for your library per se. So if you can rent a book from Amazon for cheap, knock yourself out. I will use the book. I'm follow the outline of the book. I will lecture. I like to say I lecture parallel with my books. Meaning I'm going to follow the outline of the book. Obviously, we'll use a lot of the information in the book, and then of course I'll add my own things to the book. And of course, since 2017, a lot of things have happened. If you think about additions to the Supreme Court and important court cases and changes in the law and all those kinds of things. So, you know, that's why it's, you know, I will rely on the 7th edition as for this class. And then any other cases or articles or videos or readings that I want you to use for assignments or for a test or whatever will be on Canvas. And I will, I haven't done it yet, but I will go in and divide the modules up into maybe exam 1. There'll be 4 exams in this class. So module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. And then I'll break it up like that. And then I'll put, you know, the materials, reading and or otherwise, in the various and sundry modules. So you'll need as you need them. Requirements, again, I would obviously and I've taught here, this is my 16th year, I think, at Cal State teaching part-time. Everybody's got a side hustle. The people don't fail my classes because it's super hard. It's not super hard. Right. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of writing. Now there's going to be a lot more testing since COVID is waning and we can come back to in class. I'm going to test the way, you know, God intended, face to face with a pencil and a pen. But most people who make a bad grade in my class do so because they don't turn in work on time. Overwhelmingly in my city, I maybe have had 1 or 2 people who did all the work and still failed the class. And even then, if I were to go back, they probably had late assignments. So my exhortation, my encouragement to you is to turn in your work on time, right? And think strategically. If you're a perfectionist, don't turn it in 3 days late and perfect, because that's still a D+ probably. Turn it in mediocre and on time, and odds are it'll be a better grade than now. I mean, don't do mediocre work. That's not what I'm saying, but don't get caught up in, oh my gosh, it's late or it's going to be late, I might as well quit. Just turn in what you have. Sometimes turning in what you have on time is better than turning in, you know, the perfect assignment 3 days late. So just, if I can, you know, turn in things. If you decide about 2 weeks in, man, I hate this guy, I wish I could, you know, just gouge my eyes out or plug in my ears as opposed to listen to him or watch him on video talk about courts. Hey, peace to you. Drop the class, right? Because if your name's on there at the end, drop the class. That's the other main way that people fail my course, is they're in there at the end, they've not turned in any work, they've not shown up, they've not signed on to Canvas. Maybe you decide it's worth the phone call or the email or however Cal State does it now to drop the class. So there's a new policy, or they're reinforcing an old policy, which basically is if you've not accessed the class, which in this environment would include logging into Canvas, which I can see, and showing up to class, like in the first 3 or 4 weeks, they will force drop you, right? Not to punish you, but just to basically save your financial aid and save your GPA. So the powers that be are kind of looking on that sort of stuff. So I'm the bearer of that bad news. Again, if you're having a significant life issue, let me know. I'm not your father confessor. I'm not a psychologist, but I do care and I want you to succeed and I don't want you to waste your time and your money. So if you're having a health issue or whatever, you don't have to tell me all the nitty-gritty details of your life, of course, but just sort of let me know, you know, that you've not dropped off the face of the earth. There are ways we can, work through whatever arises in your life. And as you can imagine, and I've been teaching for 23 years. I've seen lots of life experience, both in my own life and in students' lives, to know that sometimes, you know, helps. So we can help you out if we have to. Evaluation procedure and grades, the next part of the syllabus here. So there will be 4 exams, 1, 2, 3, 4. They will be in class. So in the classroom on 4 Thursdays. They will be a mixture of objective, probably 25 to 30 objective questions, because there are some things like terminology and names that you may need to know. I will give you a review sheet a week before the exam. And then I will also, hold on, I'm about to sneeze here. And then there'll be an essay part of the exam, 1 or 2 probably shortish essays, not giant essays, because we only have an hour and 15 minutes to test. But you'll need to bring a Scantron. Hold on 1 second, I forgot. So just in case, pardon the interruption here. So just in case you don't remember, this is a Scantron. Where is it here? So it's a scan. This one is called a, oh, where's the number on it? 80, I think it's called 8011. Oh, here we go. Test 100E, full compatibility. Anyway, it's a green Scantron form. It's got 100 questions on it. It looks like that. You'll bring that into class and a pencil and you'll bubble it in. So most of you probably remember, and you might think, why is he showing me something I already know? Hey, good questions. So you'll need 4 of these. They're probably a dime, maybe 15 cents with inflation. And then you'll need some version of this. So blue books are literally blue, but I think at Cal State campus bookstore, they sell green ones. I don't care, as long as it's a book with lined paper. And so you will need those for essays. So bring 4 blue books or green books and 4 of these long Scantrons, not the wide ones, but for these. This one has 100 answers on it. We're not going to have 100 questions, don't get me wrong, but so you'll need those for the exams, and then bring a pencil at least, because you need a pencil for the bubble in part because it won't grade ink. So I have a lot of exams both here and there, so the Scantron helps me to keep control. So I probably won't have any extras on me because I don't have a lot on me, but so anyway, you'll need those for the exams. There will be 2 briefing assignments, case briefing assignments, one over criminal cases and one over civil cases, just to give you an idea of the issues in those. So if you've taken con law classes and you're used to Supreme Court opinions, these will be opinions from lower courts, state courts dealing with murder, rape, burglary, etc., slip and fall, torts, defamation, those kinds of things, just to give you an idea of the difference between these sort of high-flown, highfalutin, if you will, cases like Roe versus Wade and Miranda versus Arizona and all of that, versus just sort of Texas versus Smith, you know, who robbed a bank, that sort of thing. That'll be 10% of the grade. The exams will be 70% of the grade, meaning I will take the 4 exams, I will average them together in the grade book, and then that average will be 70% of your grade. So exams are important because they're more heavily weighted than the briefs. The assignment response essays, those historically in a synchronous environment where we met face-to-face, were all response essays. they probably will be all response essays this semester, but I maintain the right to change types of assignments in the middle. But those will be probably 4 or 5 of them throughout the course of the semester, maybe a little more since we're in an asynchronous environment and you don't have to drive to the campus, for class on Tuesdays. Those will be 20% of the grade. So those are fairly easy. If you're a bad test taker, if you do well on the 30%, that's relatively straightforward and easy, then that will help bolster your test grade, right? If you make D's on the test or C's on the test, you can easily drag that up above a C and maybe even above a B if you're making A's on all the assignments and all of that. So the essays are not formal in terms of they're not APA Chicago style research papers. Some of you had me before. I give you a couple of documents or something, say Federalist Papers or whatever, and you read them and really just tell me what you think about them and analyze them and all that sort of stuff. And they're relatively easy B's for the most part, and usually easy A minuses depending on the writing and how well you write and all of that. So that's the basic grading scale. Here we go. In terms of late work, I will knock them off late. You can email me and tell me it's going to be late. Still probably going to count it late just because you've had a week. And I know if you get sick the day of, I can't help that. You've had 7 days to do it. So now again, if there's an overwhelming emergency, a death in the family or something, then obviously, we'll revisit that. But and then anything that's later than 7 days late, I don't have to accept it. So there you're going to need a good excuse, a good reason why the work is that late. And those, again, usually be deductions, even if I do accept it. I will say this, if you get to the end of the semester and you've whiffed on an assignment, you just totally missed it, didn't do it, let's say, and it's the end of the semester and you've done everything except for that one assignment or maybe 2 assignments. If you upload it, I will grade it. Now, you may only get 20 points out of 100, but I guarantee you 20 points out of 100 is way better than 0 points out of 100, right? And also, if I look back and you did all the assignments, I'm a little less inclined to fail somebody who did all the work. If you didn't do any of the work, I'm less inclined to do that, obviously. So even if you take all 4 exams, if you didn't do any of the papers, you'd have to, if you made 100 on all the exams and didn't do any of the papers, you're starting out at a 70 or so, and then, grading down from there. So just keep that in mind as well. In terms of the grade scale, the 100 to 93, et cetera, those are the numbers. And then on the individual letter grades, so for example, the subjective assignments, the briefing and the response essays, I have to assign a number because both Canvas and Blackboard make me do that just because of the nature of the algorithms and the things that they use to calculate grades. So that's a number I give to those papers and assignments. So 96 is right smack in the middle of A, et cetera, et cetera. That's in there. I will obviously give feedback on some of those, on those assignments, especially the exams. I will try to hand back the following week. Exams, in-class covering relevant lectures and readings. An exam review, of course, will be provided as it says there. Okay, recording still. Sorry, I thought I clicked the button wrong. Briefing assignments, I'll talk about those more when those come up. Learning outcomes, again, those are pretty general, and we'll cover all those things. Now, the class, this is the schedule then of both topics and class meetings. So the whole week there, so this week will be the syllabus like we're doing now on the video. And then I will start in on chapter 1 on Thursday of this week on what is that, the 25th in class. The same with all of those weeks. I'll probably start with some sort of lecture or assignment on chapter 2 before September 1st. And then on September 1st, I'll deal with that as well. So that gives you the topics there. As I post assignments, all that, I will change the syllabus and put the schedule in there as well. And then all assignments will be posted on Canvas. all due dates for assignments will be on the assignment in Canvas. So I give you at least a week to do assignments, just, you know, that gives you ample time to sort of balance days off, family obligations. I know you've got other classes. I know y'all are busy, but this is part of that busyness. So I will give you a week to do an assignment, even if I post it later than I say. As some of you know, I'm quasi-famous, or is it infamous, for saying, hey, I'm going to post an assignment later today, then I forget for whatever reason. I'm going to say age. And then I post it the next day or something. I 99 times out of 100 still give you a week, even if it's a day extra on the end. That's my fault, not your fault. So I will give you a week to do assignments almost always, unless there's just some time crunch that overrides that. So exam 1 then will be September 15th. So that is Thursday, September 15th. Let me double check my calendar to make sure that that is correct. Yes, September 15th. So that's, you'll bring Scantron and Blue Book and a pencil. And if you have bad breath, you could bring a toothbrush. Oh, sorry, that's stupid. To class on Thursday, September 15th. By the 8th, I will post a review sheet for that exam. And what the review sheet is I'll give you a list of terms, concepts, names, case names, maybe. So a caveat as we go forward here, if I'm going to mention a lot of case names, obviously in class, as examples of things that I'm talking about. You won't be required for the exams to know any case name unless I put it in the review sheet. So for example, as political science majors, and some of you are pre-law and all of that, there are certain court cases that all Americans, educated Americans, I think, should know, right? And so examples would be Marbury versus Madison, Dred Scott versus Sanford, Plessy versus Ferguson, Brown versus Board of Education, obviously, Miranda, Roe versus Wade, maybe now Dobbs, the case that just reversed Roe versus Wade, you know, those things like that. So if you see a case name on your review sheet, then you might need to know that for the exam. Otherwise, I'm just interested in the principles that the courts have found in court opinions and things like that. The same with names. I'm not going to ask you, who signed the Declaration of Independence. If I mention to you or put it on the review sheet, John Adams, John Marshall, Roger Taney, Oliver Wendell Holmes, Justice Scalia, et cetera, Thomas Jefferson, Nixon, whoever, then you'll be responsible for the names. And the same with dates. I'm not going to ask you about July 4th, 1776 or anything like that, unless the year is in the law. So for example, if I were to ask you a question about the Judiciary Act of 1789, then you'd need 1789 because that Judiciary Act is different than the Judiciary Act of 1925 or 1891 or any of those kinds of things. So the review sheet won't be exhaustive. The example I give, I think I can give on the camera here, is here's what we talk about in class. There we go. This is as wide as I can get. This is what we talk about in class. This is what's on the review sheet. This is what's on the exam, right? So not everything in class will be on the review sheet, and not everything in the review sheet will be on the exam. And I'm going to help you sort of narrow that down, right, to that aspect. So tests will be about 50-50, 60-40 objective essays. So for example, if in that model, 60%, it would be, say, 30 multiple choice, true, false questions, A, B, et cetera, A, B, C, D. And then maybe 2 essays, short essays of 20 points each. And I'll give you sort of parameters of essay questions as well. So, and I do that for a very clear reason. In my mind, if you've watched the videos and you've listened to me talk and you've asked me questions we've discussed and all that sort of stuff, and then you know what the test is going to be, at least in terms of the essay, and you go home, you go, I'm going to show that guy, I'm going to write this essay down, I'm going to memorize it. Congratulations, I got you to memorize something, I got you to study for it. So, to me, that's great. I don't grade on a curve. If everybody makes an A, everybody makes an A. I'm a capitalist. If everybody works hard and earns the paycheck, then everybody gets paid. I'm that way as well on these things. So So the schedule here then, so these are Thursdays. Now on the 13th of October, let me get back over here to the thing. There we go. On the 13th of October, we're not going to meet. I'm at a conference in Washington, D.C., so I will be gone that day. I will probably post a lecture just to make up for the time, but also to make sure I get all the material covered, because the next class we'll have is exam 2. So you'll have a review sheet probably for at least a week ahead of that exam. And then when I get back into town, we'll have exam 2 on the 20th. 11/17 is exam 3. And now that I see the 24th is Thanksgiving Day. I just realized that now talking to you live on video. So we will not meet November 24th. In fact, I might squeeze exam 3 back up to the 10th, so that I have 2 days to cover all that material in between exam 4. So, you know what? Let me do that now live on video here. No class. Thanksgiving Day. There you go. Okay. So no class meeting on the 24th of November. Here's 2 ways I'll handle that, because I'll kind of leave it fluid. I might leave exam 3 where it is. If not, I will move it like shortly, like within the next week or 2. I might just go ahead and take advantage of the asynchronous aspect of this class and just post a couple of videos of lectures to get us ready for exam 4, just because between Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday, of course, there's a huge time crunch, and you've got finals and other classes and holidays and all that sort of stuff. So exam 4 is scheduled during our final exam. And so but there is no final in this class. It is only exam 4, meaning it'll cover those last 3 chapters of the class. Chapter 12, well, the last 4 chapters, 12, 13, 14, and 15, with the last 2 are basically the U.S. Supreme Court. The other 2 are appeals and I think sentencing. So we'll deal with all those in that 2-week time slot there. So the unfortunate thing about the holidays, it's kind of in the middle of all that, but the good thing is we can be flexible because of the video. So, and then we will meet December 1st, which will be the last meeting of class until the 8th, and we will meet to take the exam over that. So if you have any questions, you can email me or call me, or I'll see you on Thursday. Tomorrow, or excuse me, the SSD statement there, as I mentioned, if you have a diagnosed learning disability or something that inhibits the learning environment, then you have to call the SSD office and they will send me an email and paper and all of that. I can make no accommodation legally unless you bring me the paper. So if you need more time on a test, or you need whatever, I can hook you up, or they'll hook you up actually, but I need that piece of paper so I can get some lead time. I had to do that because I think they can proctor tests and that sort of thing for me. I need some lead time to get ready for that, so that you can have the testing environment that you need. Let me see here if I've done everything, covered everything. All right, learning outcomes, those are pretty standard. Learning goals, those are just kind of, there's a term in law called boilerplate. Boilerplate is language that is in pretty much every document, like a contract. If all that you learn is learning outcomes and that's all you learn, then we have failed you as a university. So those are the bare minimum things that we'll cover. I probably should have put this at the beginning, but I like this class because it's kind of an easy class to talk about. It's an overview of the court system, but also because if you see my name on the syllabus, JD means I am and was. In fact, I just paid my bar dues to the state of Texas. Back there, there's the flag. To the state of Texas, and I was a lawyer. I practiced there in the 90s, and then I for the Texas Department of Public Safety, which is Texas has a centralized state. Well, I take that back. We have county sheriffs and state and local police, like any state, so city police, etc. But our state policing, Texas Highway Patrol, a group called the Texas Rangers, not the baseball team, but the actual Rangers, narcs, motor vehicle theft, which covers like rings, chop shops, salvage yards, those kinds of things. And special crimes and all of that are covered under one agency called the Texas Department of Public Safety. So that's where I practiced law, and then I moved into teaching at police academies and in the criminal justice area because of my professional experience with policing and all of that. I was technically an administrative lawyer, so I've got a pretty good professional experience, both practicing but also in studying administrative law, criminal law, and civil law. We won't have as much time to talk about administrative law. Any of you who are in the public admin branch of this major, that's an important class to take. And those of you who go to law school, I would definitely recommend taking an administrative law class. It is the most underappreciated field of law that we have. I might stick in a lecture here or there about it. I teach a whole class on it in the upper division here, and I think there's one there at Cal State too, but I have to go back and look at the catalog. Anyway, so that's my kind of professional experience, and I've been teaching in academia since 1999. So I've been a professor this is my 19th year here at Cal Baptist, my 16th year here at Cal State, and I taught 5 years at a college in Texas before I got my job and moved my family halfway across the country. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me. I have a wife and 3 kids. So my kids are, 2 of them are in college. Well, one's out of college. Oh my God. One's in college also. Oh my God. And one's a senior in high school, which is double. Oh my God. Cause I'm getting old. I will use them as examples sometimes in the class. Not that they run afoul of the law, but families are kind of decent pictures of authority structures and governmental units, if you will. Anyway, you'll see that as we go throughout the semester. So I hope you enjoy this class. It's going to be, I think, interesting. I hope fun as judicial process can be. A lot more fun than state and local government. And those of you who are going to law school, I hope to give you, like I said, a good general overview of the practice of law, what courts do, what lawyers do, what judges do. And it's not something you will take in law school, but it's kind of help you, be exposed to the practice of law if you're not already to some degree in there as well. So I hope to see all of y'all Thursday night. So even if you can't make it Thursday night, so I've already got an email from a student who is ill. Make sure and log into the Canvas, even just to log in and look at the syllabus, right? That way you're on record as having access to class and all of that. So I know, you may get COVID, you may get the flu, you may have to have a surgery. So, and I will say too, there's an outside chance I'm having to have a medical procedure Wednesday. So I should be fine, Lord willing. But there's a very so on unless you hear from me, we are having class on Thursday, the regular time. And that's pretty much the state anyway. I'm coming from Riverside to San Bernardino every Thursday. I will, if I can't make it for whatever reason, sick, car problem, whatever, I will email you as a class literally ASAP. So if you're driving in from Palm Desert or Barstow or Rancho for that matter, I would just go ahead and double check the email just to make sure, right? Again, there might be a time when I won't be able to call in until 5 o'clock, but I will try to save you the drive if at all possible. So anyway, thank you for listening, if you did in fact listen this far, and I will see y'all on Thursday. Thank you.